You didn't think I was actually going to show you that in the first 5 seconds of the video. Disney recently announced that they've created the world's first retractable lightsaber, which is kind of strange considering I have this certificate right here from last year. Okay, so ours is still technically a proto lightsaber since it requires a backpack. Coolest extendable prop lightsaber on the market. Anyway, let's talk about the closest thing to a real lightsaber on the market. Well, I guess it's not really on the market since we're not willing to sell it, but I'm talking about our current proto saber. In celebration of May the 4th be with, fourth most viewed video on the channel with over 31 million views. That's absolutely insane. If you add up all the views of all our lightsaber videos, it's over 100 million views. You guys must like lightsabers or something. So let's take a deep dive and talk a bit more about how we're gonna make it better for the future. As we mentioned in the build video, the basic principle of our proto saber is burning a mixture of laminar flow gas. In this case, propane and oxygen. It's not creating pure plasma, but there is a certain amount of plasma in the burning blade. What makes it possible is the proto saber is a piece of tech that's been around for decades, and I guarantee anyone who's ever used or seen a glass blowing torch has probably waved it around humming lightsaber sounds. The cool thing is, we're actually going to be working with GTD, one of these, fully cordless. Maybe. Either way, make sure you subscribe. So what are the biggest issues with our design? Well, for starters, it's a proto saber, and having a cord is kind of lame. But we've explained in past episodes, one of the biggest issues with a real lightsaber is getting 100 centimeters. But when moved fast, the blade can shrink down to a foot or about 30 centimeters, making swinging a lightsaber around kind of difficult. Now the thing I'm curious about is, if it's air resistance that causes this, what if I use this lightsaber in outer space? I'm probably not going to be able to try that anytime soon. I'll be able to swing this around in a vacuum chamber without the blade changing at all, which would be really cool. The issue is, where do we find a giant vacuum chamber that we can put this in, besides like NASA? Seriously, if any of you guys know of a vacuum chamber that this could be tested in, cutting power. In the movies, lightsabers can swing quickly through things, cutting them instantly. Unfortunately, in real life, we have to deal with a branch of physics called thermodynamics, specifically heat transfer. Have I lost a basic example? Take a tea kettle, for instance. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. A tea kettle heating element can heat up to 100 degrees Celsius. But water doesn't just boil instantly when you turn on the kettle, or when you blast fire into the water in order to heat it up. Or in the case of a lightsaber, how long does it take for the heat from the lightsaber to heat up the material to its melting point, at which point it would start to cut? So, how do we figure out how long that takes? Using specific heat, the specific heat capacity of material is the energy required to raise 1 kilogram of the material by 1 degree Celsius. The specific heat capacity of water is about 4,180 joules per kilogram Celsius. A watt is a joule per second. So how 20 degrees? Therefore, the calculation is 1 kilogram times 4,180 times 80 degrees Celsius, which equals 334,400 joules, which means in order to have a kettle boil a liter of water in just 1 second, you would need 3. So if you want to boil a liter of water in a minute, we can divide this total power by 60 seconds, which will only be 5.56 kilowatts. Quite a bit more reasonable. But the average kettle is only 1.5 kilowatts because of the limitation from an outlet at 1 per kilogram of water. So yeah, it takes a while to heat things up. Luckily, water actually has a really high specific heat capacity. While water is around 4,200, steel is only 420, or a tenth of water. That's great, right? That means you can slice through a wall. Where are you going?
I'm going to Japan.
Japan?
Anime.
What?
Those like Japanese cartoons. Have you?
I know what anime is, Owen. Why are you going to Japan?
Well, because they have stuff on Netflix that we don't have here. I can't get it here.
Are you kidding me? Install NordVPN on whatever device you're using for streaming, whether it's a computer, your phone, or a laptop.
What's a VPN? Is that some type of like anime streaming service? I've never heard of it.
It's a VPN, a virtual private network. It's super simple. 1 click, that's all. Per sec. You can be in Japan on your phone while you're on the bus on your way home, while even protecting yourself from hackers and bad people trying to read your sensitive information. I heard the Wi-Fi on those buses aren't so safe, man. And that goes for you guys too. Visit NordVPN using my link below or use the coupon code discount on NordVPN, plus 1 extra month for free. They offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're doing their final sale at the moment, so get going. And you, get back to work. So how hot could we get our lightsaber? Acetylene torch can hit about 6,200 Fahrenheit or 3,500 Celsius, which is hotter than most materials' melting points. Unfortunately, there are some challenges in running oxyacetylene in a torch like this, which is why we use propane instead. Anyway, the issue is, even at those massive temperatures, it's because it has a very thin blade, which means it only needs to heat up a small amount of material, which means it can cut things a lot faster. Even though our lightsaber is hella hot, it's got a big blade, and that means the heat isn't very focused when cutting things. It has to heat up. The only time lightsabers were portrayed in a reasonable way was when Qui-Gon Jinn cut through the blast shield doors. It actually showed that it took time to heat up that much durasteel in order to cut through, even though every other depiction of a lightsaber shows it either cutting through things instantly. Our lightsaber could cut through a few inches of steel plate. It'd just take a really, really, really long time. If we wanted to be able to slice through things and cut metal just like the movies, I'd guess that our lightsaber would have to be in excess of 20,000 degrees Celsius. AKA, most materials that are capable of withstanding this heat are also rather brittle, which means it might work, but you'd still have to gently hit lightsabers against each other, which is also kind of lame. A lot of people also asked, what would happen? Will it melt? Well, no, it wouldn't. And again, we can thank heat transfer for the answer. Since a bullet would be moving super fast through the blade, I would guess that it wouldn't even warm up because it spends so little time inside. But hey, let's prove it. I'm going to use a Nerf gun for our demonstration though. Now, a Nerf dart has a very, 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 very low melting point, and it travels a lot slower than a bullet. So, first off, let's see into the lightsaber. Woo! And it's gone. Now that happened pretty quick, but the question is, what if I shoot the Nerf dart? And that's heat transfer for you. Because it moves so quickly, it didn't actually take on much heat from the lightsaber. I guess lightsabers aren't actually very things. Cut. All right, that was kind of disappointing, but was to be expected. So let's get to the real meat and potatoes of this video. The reason you clicked on this video. Would this lightsaber cut off my hand? Should I just try it? Like we learned, as long as I can minimize my hand's time inside the lightsaber blade, hypothetically, I won't cut my hand off. My skin and body have their own specific heat capacities, though the human body's ability to self-regulate temperatures kind of changes that. It takes a long time, obviously. It might actually be a more scientific test, maybe. Yeah, it's a box of hands. In all seriousness though, these are actually wax hands from Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in Orlando. Big thank you to Curtis to sending these to us. Well, you get your wish. We're gonna see what happens. So, all right. Okay, for the first test, we're gonna slowly put this hand through and see what happens. That still takes a while, but that would most certainly be a 3rd degree burn. Or a 4th degree burn? Or is there such a thing as a 5th degree burn? It through the lightsaber really quickly. Is it going to heat up? Is it going to melt at all? And depending on the result, is that going to give me the confidence required to swing my own hand through the lightsaber? Here we go. Karate chop. Not even warm. Even the hair? All right, so this can't be overstated. Do not try this at home. I am a trained professional idiot, and yeah, based on it. right, that was awesome. Did you see how the flame wrapped around my hand and through my fingers? And I didn't even get burnt. That's because the time my hand spent in the actual fire, if you end up holding it in for just a bit too long, you could end up with serious burns. This was a risk. It was a calculated risk on my part, and I'm a trained professional, but don't try this at home. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe learned a thing or two about physics. We're gonna cut store because we're releasing our very own mini saber. Thanks for watching, guys.
What's it called when you...
Piping bags.
Piping bags.
Icing farters. But first, let's do a random disturbing fact.
Okay.
The average person walks by almost...
How many people you as an individual tend to walk by on any given day? The likelihood you walk past at least one murder is almost certain, with potential to up to 16 to 30, depending on how much walking you do. So if there's ever a PSA again...
Wow.
All right.
I don't even know how to feel about that.
We have some cards here.
So I won't feel it.
They have pictures on the back. These are mine. You have yours over there. You have a stopwatch because I'm going to go white coffee mug on a white sheet of paper. How am I going to do white icing on a white sheet of paper? But you know, I found a way.
Okay.
I found a way.
That's going to stain your pants.
Yeah, I know. It's your turn. What do you want? Pink? So far, it's just a person in a nightgown. Oh, white hairs. That's an interesting. Why do you get a headache?
Many ingredients.
Why do you get a headache when you eat too much sugar? Glucose level fluctuations affect your brain more than any other organ. Sugar causes hormonal changes.
May provide policyholders with a small stimulus-like payment. This payment would be the second highest ever under the Affordable Cares Act of around $2.1 billion coming this fall, so around September time. These rebates are due to the fact that the insurance companies failed to hit certain thresholds under Obamacare, which requires that they spend 80% are going to be returned back to you who are on Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act public insurance, right? So watch for that this coming fall. Now, in terms of an actual fourth stimulus check, so far, outside of his excitement of how well the previous checks did, we haven't heard much from him officially. However, the fact that he brought it up should spark some hope that he would want to do more good. Gosh, I'd need a new pair of sheets. Okay, now in response to a photo that Marilyn had shared and some bad intel, they thought that she had Nancy Pelosi's laptop and came to been over 100 days since President Biden took office. His attitude towards the pandemic appears to be shifting. He recently stated that America is on the move again, turning peril into possibility, crisis into opportunity.
Is an IPSC target, and then this is the same shape, as you can tell, but it is a 33% IPSC, so it's just really small, which is cool if you're trying to hit more accurately. But the way they mount is kind of cool. So it sits on a T-post, a sled, and it's the Hydro sled, which they have some called lead sleds as well. But this one, you fill it with water. Put it all together right here. So you fill it up with water so it doesn't move around, which is good because a lot of the stuff we do, this would be much better. You can see it's got ways you can mount it. Plus we could put some bungees around it to make it real secure. And then it's going to be super heavy, so it's not going to move. We'll hit our target right where we want. HQ just as a decorative piece, which kind of sounds like, I don't know, they work so hard, and it's AR500 steel and it's 5/8 thick. Like, it's some thick stuff, but I don't know, I just feel bad tearing it up. It's so cool looking. I think we're actually going to move this one off. It is completely held up by only paint. There's no glue. And this thing weighs like 100 pounds. Could have killed somebody. We also got some fancier stuff. Check this out. Or you can turn it way up. Just getting fancier and fancier out here on the ranch. So you rarely see the range from this angle, so that's back. What's nice about this range is there's huge hills on all sides of it. So we can fire in pretty much any direct, like 20 feet away. Pretty good shot. Here's a good little lesson for you so you can tell the difference. That's the 33%. So it's, you know, the size of a hand. This is the 66%. So it's, you know, twice rifle rated. Pistol rated, I think, are 1/4 inch, and then like 50 BMG is 1/2 inch. Also have some of these. That is a gong target. This they're calling an octagon target, so it is an octagon, except it has little ears there for hanging. And then this is a coffin bit. Didn't register. Probably because I hit it. 3, 2, 1.
I think David might be right.
Think we maybe need bullets.
Womp womp.
These are combos. We got mounts. We've got all these little red dots. This, I mean, this is sweet. This is what Crimson Trace in my mind has always had, is like lasers. Now I need to buy a little Smith & Wesson J-frame. Lights. You have no need to demonetize this one. So we'll be back in a little bit after the Demolition Ranch video is done. Demo Ranch video went great. I was covered in ranch dressing. It's a long story. But we're gonna see if this generator will power. So these lights are what came on the trailer. And then we also have these little LED strips. Yeah, this is great. We'll be able to see everything. Plus it looks like a party in here now. Woo whoop. All right, we wanna see how it looks when it's actually dark outside. Oh yeah, this is great. Seen?
Oh, hell yeah.
Get an El Promino in here, it's gonna be great. Okay, I need to hook up the trailer now so we can move it around in front. Don't look at that, that's future Demo Ranch video. So we can move it around in front of the bay door. Maybe. Oh, it might still be locked. Oh, nope, it's going. Look at that. Dude, we can see everything from there. This is the greatest thing I've ever done. Okay, so now this trailer is gonna get completely full on the El Camino, and then we got some bigger ones down there because the ones I used, we used them, they smoked really well, but we didn't actually blow them up because it was smoking so much I couldn't breathe anything. So we might still use those, but they also use big truck tire on it. Because everyone's like, Matt, put normal size car tires on it, it'll do a better burnout. I know that. I'm not trying to do a good burnout, I'm trying to look awesome. I don't get why you guys don't get that. But as you can see, we also have a lot of boxes. Something special planned for Cletus and Cars. It's not gonna be the same as the last time we were there. It's a secret. You're gonna love it. So tomorrow, me and 3 guys from the bunker are heading out dark and